Hello, loves, and welcome to the weekly healing circle. We will be here for like about an hour. Just grabbing the cards. We have quite a bit to talk about. I hope everybody's ready for full moon energies. The moon is already in Virgo, so should be feeling it already. The build up. So this specific live, especially when I was looking at the astrology, there's a reason why it's called Ready to Let Go. And if you watch my breakdown on the full moon in the Virgo video, you will know why. But the question is, are you ready to let go? This is the last full moon of this astrological year until we get into Aries season, and then the new astrological year begins. So, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to let go? So, Pisces season, it really death. And we're already getting the death card. Are we surprised? We shouldn't be. First card out is the death card. And I just asked, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to let go? Because the Pisces season is where you do your reflection. For Yayo girl, I have, this is a collective reading. If you want a personal reading, that would be on Wednesdays. And if you want just a one-on-one reading, that would be on my website. The link will be in my bio. Just pick this up real quick. So continuing. Pisces season is about reflection, is about really realigning yourself with your vision, getting yourself back in order. It's very healing. It's very transformative. It's very inspiring. It's very decisive too, because you can kind of choose where you want to go. You can choose where you want to go with it. You can choose how you want to approach the next thing that's coming. And what is coming? Spring is coming. Spring is coming. The time to plant, the time to grow, the time where you see a lot of focus on growth, fertility. It's an evolution. And it's a growth. It pushes you, it throws you right into it's like you become a seed and now you're replanting yourself. But so Pisces season is that decisive season where you clear up the gutter, the things that you've been needing to reflect on, the things that have been actively holding us back collectively, and realigning ourselves and putting our energy towards the right direction, really changing the whole entire vibe, honestly. It's if you've been stuck for a really long time, if you've been sitting on the same energy for a really long time, this is where you need to be reflecting, analyzing, processing, loving yourself, clearing, healing, so that you can prepare yourself to have your road opened moving into the spring. Spring tends to be a collective time where everybody kind of has a road opening, because spring is just part of nature's cycle. It's the time of planting. It's the time of really for things to start blossoming in this beautiful way. And you start blossoming too. That's kind of the other thing about it. You start, you're a little tiny seed, but then you start to blossom in a really big way. And it can be very transformative, and it can also make you feel like you're back in alignment with yourself. So this is what I mean by are you ready to let go? Are you ready to let go? And if you're not, why aren't you ready to let go? the fact that we have the death card being the first card out, and the death card is the card of Scorpio. Scorpio has an absolute fixed nature when it comes to its own energy. And the funny thing about Scorpio energy that a lot of people also don't understand is that Scorpio, while it's a fixed sign astrologically meaning it doesn't like to really change. It doesn't like, it likes its regular routine. It likes to do things the way that it likes to. But Scorpio also rules death and transformation. And you know what is absolutely true to the word? That one day you will be transitioning. One day you will go through a deep transformation, whether that is in a physical form or whether that is in a different form. But there is a transitionary period that has to happen. It is a fixed thing. It does not, you're not immortal. We're collectively not immortal. So because that transformation has to happen anyway, especially within the physical realm, because that transformation has to happen anyway, it's like, are you ready to go in through a transformation, or are you going to keep like holding on and just really not wanting to allow things to shift? Are you going to continue to just feed your energy to things that don't matter and that shouldn't have your time and energy, like really shouldn't be taking up so much space, but they are? Like, what is the solution in your head? Especially for those who have set intention for stuff and are actively waiting for it to come to pass and are actively waiting to manifest it and all these things, but are still frustrated that they don't have it yet. You want to have what you want, but you don't want to change to get it. You want to have what you want, but you don't want to change to get it. Bottom of the deck is the Chariot and the Knight of Pentacles. You want what you want what you want, but you don't want to change to get it. You just don't. It's not something that you want to do. It's not something that you want to have to do. You don't want to change to get it. But the thing is that when you build up on energies and just things that you actively don't need, like when you build up on that for a really long time, it just starts to eat at all of the fruit and stuff that you're actually trying to grow. It starts to eat at it. So it's kind of like you planted some seeds in the grounds and you were hoping for some vegetables in your garden. You were hoping for some vegetables. You were hoping for some, some food that you could harvest later on. And because you weren't paying attention to what was going on in your garden, you ended up noticing that, other insects came in and it started eating your food. And now you have to throw away all this effort that you put in because you weren't cleaning house. You weren't doing your due diligence to make sure that your garden, that vision that you have for yourself, is still like on track of coming to pass. And also the need to be patient with some of these intentions that you guys have, because some of you guys want to slap your fingers and be like, okay, I got it on some Ariana Grande thing. But it's not that simple, because some of you are not ready for what you want and you haven't made yourself ready for what you want. You haven't done the effort. You haven't put in the work to actively receive. And as someone who is a child of Saturn, and I have to say this every week because you guys know your girl's a Capricorn, you don't get anything without working for it. There's some signs, I will tell you, like, there's definitely some signs that they just are very lucky, like Sagittarius, for example, are very lucky. Well, every Sagittarius except for Hailey Bieber, because Lord. But Sagittariuses are naturally very lucky. The mutable signs actually generally are very lucky, except for probably Virgo. I wouldn't say Virgo is as lucky as some of the other ones, especially with what they're tasked to do and what their energy is meant to do and the purpose of their energy to the world, being ruling medicine and healing. One of the mutable signs is not lucky, but the rest of them, they get away with a lot of shit. Gemini gets away with so much shit. And you can't tell me I'm wrong either. Gemini gets away with a lot of shit. There's some signs that will literally do and break rules and do all this stuff, and they will get away with like literal murder. And that's on their planetary ruler, but that's also on the innocence of some of the signs' nature. Specifically Sagittarius being ruled by the planet of luck. Like that's just on some other level. But there are the rest of the signs that actually have to work, especially the cardinal signs. Like if you are a cardinal sign, you actively have to put effort. Like you can't just, you can't just do the bare minimum and have the success. It's not going to happen. That's not how it works. So if you're a Cancer, Aries, Libra, or Capricorn, we constantly have to put effort because we're cardinal signs. We create action towards the things that we want to do, that we're needing to achieve or wanting to have in our lives. We create action. We're the ones that literally take that step and we're like, okay, well, this needs to happen. Then let's go. Let's do it. Like, what's up? Why is this even a conversation? Like, let's go. Like, let's go. And this is why when you look at, if you look at a lot of the things that these signs when in cardinal placements that, if you look at especially past people who have already passed, like history wise, and the things that they have done for the community, it's interesting because like Edison, for example, was a Capricorn, right? And the legacy with Capricorn energy is creating things that the community, people need, and really solving a solution to a problem or bringing a solution to different problems, right? Like if you look at Hamilton, for example, created the whole banking system in the United States, right? If there's going to be colonial government, let us have some sort of banking and like monetary system where it makes sense of the way the states are navigating together, right? And the legacy of his life actively plays such a big role in how we navigate colonial society when it comes to finances to this day. Like the way that it takes effort to build things and create things so that the community can benefit from them. It takes action. You can't just snap your fingers and be like, oh yeah, well, I had the idea, so that's it. It's created. Everything's done. The work has been done. That's literally not how it works. It's literally not how it works. You need to put in the effort. You need to put in the time. You need to put in you also need to let go. So if you're still kind of stuck in the sitting on things and kind of just more dwelling than anything, dwelling on things that actively are just taking up space. They're taking up time. You're thinking about them too much. You're taking up so much time that it's stopping you from creating action towards the things that you need to be working on in order for you to stay on track. Because right now, the way the cards are reading, it's like, one, yeah, you just say set intention for something, but that thing is still brewing, and I wouldn't say enough effort has been placed for you to receive it either. Like it's something that you need to continuously put more effort in. It's something that you also need to give time for things to grow. Like if you're growing vegetables in a garden, you're not going to be like, snap, I want dinner, and it's going to be grown. Like that's not how it works. That's just not how it works. So it's important to give things enough time to grow, enough time to really come into fruition, but also to give ourselves time to work on those things as we are building and growing. There is not just one or the other. You can't just pick to, you can't just half-ass certain things about your life and half-ass certain things about your vision for life and the things that you want to envision for yourself. You can't just half-ass it and then expect greatness and expect to snap. The roads are open. You got exactly what you wanted. Like all of a sudden, that's not how it works. Certain things take more effort. And through colonial society, there's just been some certain things getting through and achieving certain things have become so much more harder when it comes to the lens of colonial society in achieving certain dreams or certain goals that you might have, because we are in a colonial society. Do you think that if we were all actively in tribal communities and you said to your elders or your family or whatnot, like, hey, I really want to be this, or I really want to do this, or I really want to work on this, or I want to be an artist, or I want to do that, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that, your elders are going to be like, no, you can't. You got to go work so you could pay this? And you really think they would do that? They would nurture the things and the goals and the dreams that you would already have. They would nurture that. They would honor that. That in relation to you is something that would be very, very sacred, right? And that is your own sacredness, okay? And not dismissing that is super, super important. So the fact that we're navigating through a colonial society and that we're trying to process how to navigate the physical realm through a colonial society and actively having these more modern and more technological and more like social to today's time, like energy, and trying to push our goals through using the technology and the things that we have today. It's something that it makes it a lot harder when you're blocked at the door at certain doors due to who's created this illusionary door that they don't want you to go through, right? So it's really important for, let me just fix, hold on. I'm going to fix TikTok because they're having a whole entire issue and I don't know what's going on. Okay, one sec. Hopefully that works now. And okay, hopefully that worked because TikTok is having like, it's, I don't know what's going on with TikTok. Anyway. Oh. No, Siri, go away. Okay. Oh, Jesus. Okay, I hope y'all can see me because TikTok's being weird. Anyway, the point is, give things time to grow, but also release when you need to. Don't hold on to things that absolutely, like, especially in your head. Like, the more, and you guys have to understand, the air element is the fastest moving element. Okay? Both astrologically and just in life, the air element moves as fast as you are taking breaths in and out of your body. It is the fastest moving element. And so when it comes to, you know, the King of Swords coming up with the death energy, it's your mind. It's your mind. It starts here. Change starts up here. It starts up here. And then that trickles down to your actions, that trickles down to your effort, your fire, what you're choosing to give your energy to, why you're choosing to give your energy to it. And it really starts in your head first. Your head is the most important thing, and it's the fastest moving element because it's constantly changing. You constantly are changing your mind. You're constantly wanting something else, wanting this, wanting that. You want to eat this, you want to eat that, you want to go here, you want to go there, you want to da. It's constantly you're always going through a lot here, which is why we're getting this energy. Like, are you ready to let go yet? Because in our head, there are certain things that just become stagnant there. There's certain things and thoughts that we just kind of give way too much fire into that then block opportunities and things that we should be focusing on, because there are things that we want to focus on. There are things that we're trying to, you know, make our way to, but it's like the way the mind is going, it keeps you stuck in places that you don't need to be stuck in. So this week, it's important to think about how you're going to release, what you need to release, communicating the release. Ooh. Attraction and lust. And one of the ways that this is going to happen, especially through Pisces season, is that Pisces season is a very elusive, flowy kind of energy. It romanticizes your vision a lot, and which is a great thing when it comes to manifestation. So, you know, but this is kind of how you start getting pulled out of it, and how spirit, your ancestors, and also the universe, how spirit just kind of starts taking you out of certain things. It kind of starts calling you out, like attracting you to the thing, especially to the intention that you already set. It starts kind of making it shinier, like, oh my God, look, there's an opportunity to take that course that you wanted to take with the professor or whomever you wanted to learn from. Oh, look, there's this opportunity for this. Oh, look, somebody just sent me this, and they said they thought that you were the best person for it. So it's like, it kind of just starts bringing you and almost like seducing you in a very, like, it looks very shiny kind of way. You see how it's like that treasure chest? There are certain things that our own vision for our lives, the reason why they kind of stay in rotation and that vision that we're trying to achieve and work towards, so the reason why they stay in rotation in our heads is because we're actively trying to work towards it and manifest it. But sometimes we get lost in the sauce. Sometimes we get, muddied in the waters. Sometimes we get trapped in situations and things that are just not the best. And sometimes we forget, or we get distracted, and all of a sudden we're not working on the thing. All of a sudden we stopped. All of a sudden, like, we got tired. All of a sudden, you know what, I'm going to sleep. Or all of a sudden, you know what, I'm going to go smoke. I'm like, all of a sudden, and then all of a sudden a month goes by, or 2 months go by, or a year goes by, and then you're like, damn, but I really still want to do that. I still want to do that for myself. I still want to achieve this. I still want to do this. This is still my vision. Like, it still starts to call on you. It draws you back in, because part of your purpose is going to be, you're going to magnetize yourself to it, period. It's not going to be really no fighting that. You're going to be magnetized to your purpose. But sometimes certain things are going to actively try to disrupt your space, and especially up here. Confusion and misunderstood. And this is for the ones who are tapped into the Pisces energies, where they're just kind of like, but I'm reflecting on this, but I don't know. Like, I don't understand. I don't know why it had to happen that way, especially if it's a love situation. Y'all, the time, you know what? And I know that we don't want to talk about this anymore, because the way this has taken my whole For You page. But it's kind of like when you have, and I'm going to use the Selena and Justin and situation thing as an example for this. It's kind of like when something doesn't sit right with you, and it's like it goes unresolved in here, and it goes unresolved in here. Like, why the hell did this mother chucker get married 2 months after he done, like, broke up with the love of his life? 2 months. This is when the confusion, the misunderstood, that, oh my God, I'm still hung up on that. I still don't know. It's like a mystery. It's like a mystery. There's like an illusion there. Mind you, Justin is a Pisces. So the way he does a lot of illusionary BS, and I can tell, because I can see it when his photos and stuff. There was a photo of him that came up on my For You page, where there was like apparently a photo shoot in the Bazaar magazine. I don't know what it was. But this mother trucker, he's like, Haley's like hugging to kiss him, like up here, right? And he's lifting his sleeve to show the Selena tattoo. Like, he's lifting it in the photo. And then, but you see how he creates these illusions of like, wait, is he still? No. But then his song is still said this. And then everybody stays in this like conspiracy kind of mess. It's because he's a Pisces, and he's very elusive in that way. And then you're still trying to process, like, yo, but why did your actions reflect that? Why did you do that, though? What was the reason, on some Cardi B level? And so that aspect of being still haunted by things that feel unresolved is the reason why you need to let go. Okay, choose to be Selena, y'all. Choose to let go. Choose to move on. Because there are certain things, certain mysteries of this world, certain things that people do within their actions, especially if you are expecting or wanting something or resolution. A lot of people, like, during this time, they look for closure in relationships that they're not going to get closure in, because the person is an ass. We're just going to keep it 100. The person is choosing not to care. The person is choosing to kind of leave it in this very, like, misunderstood way. And that person is also, while they're trying to process their own stuff, making it complicated for you, because you don't know they don't know what kind of deep dive you're doing in your brain and how you're taking it. Especially men. Men never understand that. But they don't know. They don't understand the depths of evaluation that you did to try to understand what happened, why it happened the way it happened, why did it have to go the way it went, like, to really try to break down every second and try to think about that type of stuff. It can feel very confusing. It can feel like Piscean energy can highlight the fact that you're kind of trapped in this illusion of what you wanted, what you thought it was, what it ended up being, and what's the reality of the situation. And that could be very, very frustrating, because it's literally like being caught in a trap. Like you were drawn in, you took a part, you played your role, but it's like the way it ended just doesn't sit right with your spirit. It doesn't sit right with your spirit. And this is what I mean. I'm using the example of the whole like Haley situation because it is a really good example of what? Why? But why? Like that's the question, right? Why? Because homeboy is a Pisces. Homeboy, there's people in this world that would make things way more complicated than they need to. Like, and that's just on like mutable signs. That's on mutable signs. And I say that having a mutable moon, but like, y'all know I have a Capricorn stellium. Like, so that's one of the other things. With the way that I can see people wasting time from a mile away in 4K, I can also see people make things way more complicated than they need to be made from a mile away in 4K as well. Like some people actively try to make things into a telenovela, drama. It didn't need to be that. But here we are, confused, not understanding, processing, trying to like accept, trying to like feeling haunted. The not knowing the why is one of the things that can also create trauma. Because sometimes you can hold on to that and twist it and make it what you want in your head. And then with the lack of action that there ends up being, you keep coming up with different conclusions as to why. When a lot of the times, y'all, that saying though, if they really wanted to, they would. It's facts. If somebody really wanted to, you know, clear something up with you, if somebody really wanted you to like not be over here stressing out about what they said, not be like rethinking everything, if somebody really didn't want you to go through that, they would give you clarity. This is why when I talk and when I communicate, and this is even with my own wife, I am very clear about like how I'm feeling, what I'm saying. I can't, there's no, like, I have to communicate what it is. I have to communicate what it is. Granted, my third house is in Virgo and I have Mercury in Capricorn. So I'm very blunt and very like open and honest with my feelings and how I feel and why. But I think it's important to make sure that you understand that other people process things in different ways. You know what I mean? Like certain people need to be complicated. Certain people need to be the drama. Certain people need to like feel, and sometimes people start shit and start drama and start like making things complicated and like just out of nowhere they get up and leave and you don't know why and you're like, but why? And like some people need to do that because they need to feel needed, because they need to feel like they're loved, because they need to feel something. This is on the emotional sides too. It's one of those things that if you're not aware of it, you can really get put into a situation that it makes you emotionally confused, it makes you mentally confused, and then all of a sudden you're like trying to figure out like why did that happen? But Abby, you don't understand. And I'm like, listen, I understand. It's just one of those things that requires you to process that not everybody's going to want to give you the peace of mind that you're looking for. Not everyone is going to want to clarify that, and then there's some people that will. There's some people that are going to be like, oh, I wonder how they're feeling today. I wonder what they're thinking about. Oh, their vibe changed, or they're texting me weird. What's going on? Let me ask. Some people are going to actively be invested in wanting to know because they actually care. And then there's some people that will leave you in your own mystery, and that's on the water signs. And honestly, the fire signs too. Sometimes the air signs, but the air signs they will communicate the stuff mostly. But the fire signs, And the water signs are like the guilty ones in this. I'm just saying. Patience and harmony. Patience and harmony. It's absolutely really important that, look at the bottom of the deck, balance. Balance. It's absolutely really important to make sure that you are, again, the reason why you're getting ready to let go and why the question for this week is, are you ready to let go? It's because you need to come into harmony before we go into the new astrological year. You absolutely need to. You need to. If you don't come into harmony before the new astrological year, it's going to haunt you in the new astrological year. And it's going to make it so the way you have your road opening is more, almost feels like you can't start the race right, or you just like everybody else started and you're still kind of catching up and you're like trying to catch up, but it just, you know, so you're losing your breath a little bit, it's weighing on you a little bit and you can't catch up, and it's just like you're getting frustrated. It's really important for you to come into balance up here, okay, emotionally, through your communication, through making sure that you are not getting in your own way, and you're also choosing to allow things to pass as they need to. Certain things need to pass. There's certain things that absolutely have outweighed, like they've been needed to be out of your life. And now it's like, it's time. It's time to flip the script. It's time to balance yourself. It's time to let go of some of these mysteries that you're never going to resolve up here, no matter how much you twist it in your head. And don't get me wrong. I love mysteries, are one of my favorite categories of books and movies and all of the things. I love Clue is one of my favorite movies. Your girl's a nerd, okay? Ravenclaw. I love a good mystery, and I love solving mysteries too. But there are certain things, certain mysteries, certain people that will literally do things in ways that don't make any logical sense. And it will stay a mystery. It will stay being just that. Because you can't have someone's actions always be super clear. Not everything is going to be super clear. Not everything is going to be super clear. So, from Archangel Raphael, we have sobriety. Dear God and Archangel Michael, thank you for adjusting my cravings in healthful direction so that I only desire life-affirming foods and beverages. Okay. There definitely seems to be a little bit of a detox that's going to happen with this full moon in Virgo, and I do recommend it. We're also getting organic foods. Dear Archangel Raphael, thank you for supporting my desire to consume and use organic products. Because one of the things that's happening right now, especially with everything, y'all, every 3 days or every week, I don't know what it is, but a new train has derailed and just released millions of chemicals into the damn air. Like, I have this theory, and this is like, I'm not trying to be on like Abby conspiracy or whatever, but I have a theory that there are some states that are like sacrifice states that I personally feel like, and those sacrifice states tend to be Republican states, by the way. I have to say that. And those specific states are the states that when shit happens, it's like, it happened. Okay. Like, nobody really cares. Like, let that shit happen in New York. In New York City. I'm sorry. Let me specify. In New York City. Let something like that happen in New York like 4 times in New York City. With the amount of millions of people that live in New York City. Because the highest populated states, minus Texas, are all Democrat, right? So the rest of these Republican states in the middle of the country and like these very rural kind of areas, when they go through these like things, that there's just constant pollution of the water that is literally making people sick. The fact that I've seen so many damn videos of people getting sick, like sick, coughing. Y'all, I feel like, and that's my theory, y'all can tell me what y'all think in the comments, but I feel like there are, in the United States, sacrifice states, where certain states are just, stuff could happen to them, and nobody bats an eye because the population is not that big. Oh, it's just a town that's nearby. It's not that, but it's contaminating the water that's in the rivers that are literally flowing into other states that have a lot of people living in there too. But no, nobody really wants to pay attention to that. Eating a lot cleaner and paying attention to where you're getting your food from is really important at this time, because the food that's being grown in the United States is not what is, you know, hyped up to be. And I don't trust it. Okay. But I'm telling you, I have this theory, and I know that a lot of these areas that are also in these, what I'm going to continue to call sacrifice states, also have a lot of native communities and a lot of different native, like, tribal nations in there, in those areas that end up having to deal with these kind of crises, as well as the people in the town that are also being impacted and, like, going to get sick from this. I'm telling you, let this shit happen 4 times in New York City. It would never happen in New York City. Do you know what would happen if something like that happened in New York City? Oh my God. Do y'all remember 9/11? New York City, well, for those who lived in New York City, when I lived in New York, well, yeah, I live in the tri-state. I live in Jersey now, but when I lived in New York City, when I was younger, I was in the Bronx. When 9/11, when the towers fell, I was in junior high school, and I remember, like, the alarm rang, and everybody was like, well, the announcement was like, oh, your parents have been called, you're going to get picked up, blah, blah, and everybody was like, oh, we're getting an off day. Mind you, this happened pretty early in the day, so I was like, I just got to school, I just paid for the bus, like, what's going on? But I'm like, okay, I guess I'll go home and sleep, because I'm not a morning person. Your girl's not a morning person in the States. I'm a morning person in every other place. Like, in DR, your girl wakes up at like 7, 8 in the morning, and when I'm in any other place, I'm a morning person, but in the United States, no, you can text me at 11. I remember it was like, oh, I guess I'm gonna go to sleep, and then I go home, and the news is just full of everything that's going on. Right? They were cleaning New York City for like weeks. They were doing the whole New York City cleanup for weeks, and they had implied and put literally like policies in place at the airports and everything, just so nothing like that could happen again. Do you know how quickly they mobilized to address this shit? Mind you, another train just got derailed in that same state. I'm sorry, but I'm just saying, that's my conspiracy theory of the day. Y'all can take it or leave it. But I'm telling you, y'all need to be careful with what you're consuming, especially things that are grown. I know buying stuff organic is expensive. Okay, it's expensive. The Whole Foods is expensive. I would say, if you're gonna buy stuff organic, go to Trader Joe's, because at least it's like not as an expensive price. But a lot of things are really expensive right now, especially food. Like, listen, the way your girl's dying to leave the United States so bad, it's gonna happen eventually. But the way I've been trying to just eat a little bit greener, but I'm also very mindful of what I'm eating, and also not eating out that much, because you don't know what these restaurants be using. That's also one of my biggest pet peeves with people who eat fully organic. When you go to a restaurant, not all restaurants are organic. So okay, anyway, I'm sorry. That's just a little pet peeve that I have for myself. But y'all need to be paying attention to what you're consuming. Y'all also need to pay attention to your body, your physical health, especially under this Virgo full moon. There's definitely a need to check in with yourself, with your body, how you're doing, get a checkup, go to your therapist. Go to your therapist. Talk to your therapist. Cry, talk, release. Let it out. Do what you need to do. Bottom of the deck is a good night's sleep. And on Pisces season 2. Oh, caffeine free under that. So, oh All right, we'll do green. We'll do matcha instead of coffee tomorrow. I take that message for me. I take that message for me. But it's important, y'all, to make sure you are watching what you're eating and stuff. And I do recommend everybody like start, if you can, having some sort of water like storage. I have a bunch of like the big bottles of water in my pantry right now from Trader Joe's. It's like you get the big one for like, I think it's 49 cents or something like that. So we bought like a ton just in case something happens. We have something, but y'all start, like, I'm not trying to fearmonger, but I'm just saying with the way certain things are going down and the way, but like it's not being addressed, is not being, what was that other state that for literally the whole entire Trump administration, they were going through a whole water crisis? Clifton? No. I can't remember the city, but they were just going through a whole water situation and it never got fixed. This is what I'm saying. There's like sacrifice states that I personally believe that there's sacrifice states that they will never, they just don't give a F about. They just don't give a F about them. But let that shit happen in New York City. Let it happen in New York City. That's a whole civil war right there. Like, honestly. honestly, like, that's something else. That is something else. Oh, okay. One sec. So we are getting be strong. I pull myself up and do what needs to be done. Be strong. Okay? Be strong. Do what needs to be done. Family. I pray for my family and give the situation over to God for answer, support, and healing. Family. Enjoy. By enjoying this moment, I am giving thanks to God for my life. Okay. And this is also on having a good time. Like, Pisces season is not like supposed to be like such a dreary kind of experience. You're also supposed to be having fun. You're also supposed to be like trying to have a good time, processing, healing, growing. This can be such a beautiful like push towards the next evolution of you and your own journey and getting to the next thing and being in the right place and finding yourself again, empowering yourself so you have like that stamina when we go into Aries season, and then everything is on fire. And then everything is on fire. Oh, hold on. We got message. It's important right now to pay attention to your dreams. A lot of it, some of it, okay, and this is just straight. Some of it is prophetic dreams. Some of it is your own subconscious mind and the things that have built up in here that you haven't addressed that are still haunting you. Those things you actively need to address, okay? There's certain things that are prophetic dreams, and then certain things that is just your own subconscious mind haunting you. And time. Such an important thing, especially with everything that we've been talking about. This, okay, and then putting in the effort that you need to bring things to fruition. Time is the key. When you're watering things, when you're watering your dreams, when you're trying to just bring everything full circle, when you're really trying to like bring it and put in that effort so you can see it come to life in your life, it takes time. It takes time. When you accept that certain things are going to take time, and that sometimes it will be like this, it will be stormy. Sometimes you're going to be on this ship, it's going to be rocky, and you're going to be like, I don't know if I'm going to get to this destination. Like, oh my God. Sometimes it's going to feel like that, but that still requires you to continue to move forward. You're not just going to give up in the middle of the storm. You're not going to give up in the middle of the storm. Don't give up in the middle of the storm. Talisman. Make sure that you guys are also protecting your space and your energy. And this is a really great time, by the way, Pisces season overall, to work with crystals, especially if you need additional grounding to navigate the waters. Work with crystals. Make sure that you are protecting your space. Make sure that you, like, if you enchant your jewelry, highly recommend it. If you are working with specific pieces in certain ways, highly recommend it. It's going to be very helpful to maintaining your energy in a very subtle way, where other people don't really need to know what your practice looks like, but trust and believe is work. It's there. Oh. We have guardian angel and meditation. So for those who need to, who are still processing what they need to heal, and for those who are still needing to reflect and are still in the process of letting go what needs to be let go, ask your guides to help you during this time. Ask your guides to help you process and get through it during this time, and make sure that you are actively taking space to be with yourself and your head. Meditation is one of the best things for this, obviously, because you're able to really be mindful within your head, but it can also be very, very healing if that's what you're intending it to be, especially if you're ready to let go and you're actively putting in the work towards that. We also have divine guidance and power. And this is something that needs to also be said. The way that we recall our power is going to look different. It's really going to look different. Sometimes it's by, separating ourselves from the things that have caused that confusion that we were talking about, right? By really detaching ourselves. It really comes to that Aquarian energy of detachment and really mindfully sitting within your own individuality, who you are as a person, and remembering who you are, coming back to who you are. It's like coming back to center. Like you were over here, you were ping-ponging over there, you were here, and then all of a sudden you need to come back to center. That's you. That's you coming back into your power from this chaotic, kind of all over the place, kind of dragging the emotions, dragging everything in one direction and another. You need to bring it back. You need to bring it back to you. This would be also a great time, a great full moon, to do some cord cutting or some recalling your power back. This is a great moon, full moon, to specifically do some inner healing, energy healing. It's a really good time to do ancestor work. It's such a great time to do a lot of different types of healing. And this is why we're just are you ready to let go? Okay, that's the consent that you're going to have to give to your spirits, your ancestors, your guides, to say, okay, you know what? I'm ready to release. Go into that meditative state and just purge, release it, push it out. Okay, push it out. I have a video on my YouTube. I know you guys saw it, of how to transmute energy with water. Go watch that video. Some of you are going to need to do it. Especially under a Pisces season that is just water energies all day. Some of you are going to need to do that. It's very easy. Very, very easy. But some of you need to do that. Some of you are going to, family harmony. For some of you, it's definitely going to look like ancestor work. For some of you, it's definitely going to look like ancestor work. Become the true you. And this is literally what I'm saying. This is literally what I'm saying. Oh, and it flew over there. Hold on. Why so? Yeah, because tap into that ancestral, tap into that. It's important. And then we have simplify your life, because there's been too much chaos. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. Okay, simplify. There's too much confusion. There's too much things weighing up here. There's too much like weighing your heart. It's just simplify. Because it's gotten too complicated to the point that it doesn't feel good anymore. Like at first, certain things felt a certain way, and it was like, okay, all right. But now it's just like, now it has to be transmuted. Now the energy needs to shift. All right. Okay, bro. What do we need to know for this week collectively? That was just, okay, hold on. Authenticity. Which really goes back to what I'm saying as far as become the true you. Authenticity. Nurture yourself. Nurture yourself. Because self-care is important. Happy news. And be mindful how this comes to pass too. Because full moons, y'all already know full moons just makes a lot of things, brings a lot of things to light. Okay, so be ready for the different things that come to light. Then we have writers group. Create or join a writers group to gain inspiration, friendship, and support. It's a great time to look for a community. Great time to also get creative. Okay, work with the Pisces energy. Work with the season's energy. Express yourself. Like release. Okay, bottom of the deck is speeches and speaking. Like if you need to, and pay attention to your dreams, because of course it is. If you have something to say, okay, you're either going to tell your therapist or you're going to tell that person, but you need to release it. Like at this point, it needs to be transmuted. It needs to be shifted. It needs to be released. It's time. It's time. So are you ready? Are you ready to let go? You have to choose that for yourself. You can hold on to this for longer and it's going to continue to make you miserable. That is the truth of the matter. We need to know collectively. What do we need to know collectively? Okay, so we have you and your loved ones are safe, new moon in Cancer. Okay. It's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. Okay. Just gonna put the death card back up here because that's literally what we were talking about. And then we have wait, no, it was this one. Communication is key, new moon in Gemini. Communication is key. It's really important that you're expressing yourself. It's really important that you are getting the closure. I feel like some of the closure that you guys are going to be needing or getting is not going to look the same as everybody else. Closure is not always getting to tell the person off and, or coming to peace with them and, just, like being like, oh, you know what, this happened, but I forgive you. And then everything's squashed. It doesn't always look like that. Sometimes the other person doesn't care. Sometimes it's not going to shift or change. Sometimes you have to accept the fact that people want to keep things being complicated, because if they really wanted to clear it up, they would have. They would have. They 1000% definitely would have addressed it, would have given you the comfort that you needed, would have given you the peace of mind if they actually wanted to clear that up. If they actually woke up and said, oh my God, I wonder how they're feeling. Let me ask. Let me see how they're feeling. Let me see what's going on. If they actually cared, they would have. Okay? Like, I know that a lot of us have our own fantasies going on up here, and I know, and that's on Pisces energy. I know that we have our own little fantasies going on up here of how we wish things would be, or how we want things, people to like act, or how we wish certain things would kind of develop, but it doesn't end up happening in that way. And that can be frustrating when it's like who we've made and created in here doesn't always translate to real life, and that can be really frustrating. And that's literally on women writing male characters in books. Let me tell you, the amount of damage the fact that it's literally a thing that women prefer men who are written in books written by women, because those books that are written by women are written in a way where it tells how the feelings and everything, how it needed to be communicated, but it didn't in real life. A lot of the time that doesn't end up coming into translation, because a lot of men have a really hard time especially opening up and sharing their emotions, and that's on society making them pushing on men to be on some alpha male BS for no reason. But it's important to also like create a safe space for people to be able to talk to you, and to like really open it up and create a safe space. There are certain times that things will go unsaid based on the fact that they're raised to be that way. Sometimes it's not even fully their fault. Sometimes they're just a product of the consequence of their own education and how they're raised to be. And so to take things super personal internally, to internalize someone else's actions and stay hurt about it, or be like, oh my God, but why are they doing this? Blah, blah, blah. Yo, all you need to know is if they wanted to clear that up, they would try to clear it up with you. Silence not only can be deafening, but it can speak louder than words. And that's on Justin Bieber right now, but it can speak louder than words. It can say a lot. It can say a lot. Because with the way that we treat money as currency, it's like you're spending more time choosing to keep things in confusion rather than clear it up and then get on the same page, right? So you have to understand and process and accept when the moment comes for you to like let go. And that's why this very, very scorpionic energy is coming. It's just leeching, it's breathing. Okay, it's just, are you ready to let go? Are you ready to release? And once you let go, and once you have that other, like that peace of mind, what are you going to focus on next? What's next? Like, man, you just cleared up the hard drive right here. You just cleared up a bunch of stuff out of your head. What's next? What's next? I love that with this card, if you look at it really closely, so it says a lot about the environment. I'm just showing TikTok first. But it says a lot about the environment, but it's literally like cleaning up the mess, both above and below, just cleaning up the mess. Like you have the mermaids helping the turtles, and you have the human helping the bird because there was an oil spill. And it's like, okay, well, we can't continue to have the ocean have this spill. This needs to be cleaned up. But the animals need to be saved first. That negativity needs to be cleaned up and needs to be released. So are you ready to let go? Or are you going to continue to have an oil spill take up space in your emotional life? And that was the weekly healing circle, y'all. Okay. I hope that y'all got the messages that y'all needed. It was definitely a lot. It was definitely a lot for this week, but I think that we're doing a lot of work this week. in preparation. And again, I want y'all to see it as you're preparing for your own greatness, because that's what's happening. But you have to release first. Okay? You have to release first. Like, your mama had to release you out her womb for you to become who you are today. She couldn't just keep you in there. So you have to release first. This applies to all areas of life. You have to release first. There's certain things that are past their prime that are just taking up longer, it needs to just, you have to release first. You have to clean up the oil spill. You have to clean it up. You can't just let it sit there. It's just going to keep hurting other animals, right? You have to, it is time. It's time. Even if it confused you, even if it didn't make sense, even if you didn't have clarity on it, it's like, and you would be surprised how much, like, later on in a different time, you'll end up discovering what the truth was, and then it'll just come back full circle, like, yo, that's what it was. You'll be surprised, but getting hung up on it for a really long time is not productive. Not productive with what you need to do and with also taking care of yourself. So no, get grounded during this particular full moon. Get grounded. Focus on healing yourselves. Focus on recalibrating. And y'all be fine. But y'all gotta do the work. You ain't gonna get nowhere without, not doing the work. You gotta do the work. I have to say that. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you on the next video. For those who are on TikTok, make sure you're following me on YouTube, because apparently TikTok might get banned for some reason. This damn government. Like, can we all just stop paying taxes and just stop dealing with this nonsense? Okay, anyway, let me stop, because I will go into a rant. I love you guys. I will see you on the next video. Thank you so much for being here, watching, and for the Patreon members and everybody in the chat. Just, you guys are the best. I love you guys for everything. And I will see you on the next video. You also have a video coming up tonight, so stay tuned for YouTube, because that's also coming. Bye, y'all. Have a good night.